Welcome everyone to County for Old Cars, and you join me on this beautiful Sunday morning in the market town of Beccles, right on the edge of the Suffolk Broads. Today our plan is to make our way through some very rural countryside up to the banks of the River Yare. Now the river runs from Great Yarmouth to Norwich, and at some point I'm hoping that we're going to be able to cross this river, but in a somewhat unconventional way. So hope you'll join me, and look forward to seeing what we discover. So we're just making our way out of Beccles now, down to the sort of water edge really. On the left hand side of us we've got houses really from the sort of 18th and 19th century. Some of them are merchant houses, and you'll see one or two with sort of rather grand Dutch gables, but behind the houses is the Waveney River, and here there were a lot of goods, particularly sort of grain, barley, were brought up to be malted, and then so they come up by barge to the little maltings, and from there they would then be sort of shipped off to breweries or granaries. And of course the waterways are an important route for goods in this part of Suffolk, as they were elsewhere, and rivers like the Waveney obviously linked up with ports like Lowestoft, and obviously the River Yare that we're going to see link Great Yarmouth with Norwich. And further north you have the River Ouse, which again links King's Lynn with Cambridgeshire, and you know, some of the industrial towns, with sort of extended routes as far inland as Bury St Edmunds. Of course, a lot of these places, a lot of these routes aren't navigable nowadays. But the one we're going to have a look at most definitely is, and it's really been taken over by pleasure craft. But you can possibly see the land around us here is very low lying, and it sort of gives an indication as to how far the sea at one time came inland to this part of England before it was drained, and the credit is usually given to sort of Dutch engineers for draining this part of Norfolk and Suffolk for farmland, and in the process of course creating these wonderful waterways. So we're headed on the B1136 towards the market town of Loddon, and what we're looking for is a place called Reedham Ferry, so that's R-E-E-D-H-A-M, and you might be able to see that already the countryside starting to become a little bit more rural and wild. It's a Sunday morning, and we're literally the first week of June, and as you can see we've got the roads to ourselves, which is absolutely fantastic. part of Suffolk and Norfolk we're in at the moment, because we're right on the border, it's kind of located between Norwich, Lowestoft and Great Yarmouth. So on the one hand you've got the really beautiful and extremely well served city of Norwich, and on the other you've got these two formerly vital 19th century ports which are trying to find a role for themselves in the 21st century. Some of that has been through trying to revitalise tourism, and some of it has come from the offshore wind farm industries, servicing wind turbines and obviously maintaining and developing them. At one point in the 1970s, North Sea oil was an important part of the local economy there, but that sort of died off really by the 1990s, and this is a part of the country where you find sort of huge imbalances of affluence and poverty, sort of cheek by jowl, and a need to redefine sort of the local economy. And one of the difficulties is the road communications here, because the A12, which is the main road from London, once you get past Wickham Market, it's pretty much single carriageway, and it makes it difficult for transporting goods by lorry. It's certainly inefficient. And then of course the other route, which is, if the A12 is going north-south, and the other route which is going east-west is the A47 to Norwich, and again that's not the easiest route, and it's not the most direct route for getting to the Midlands. So we have this sort of strange conflict between the wonder of the geography, it's just a beautiful place, but also its drawbacks simply because of the local geography. When we talk about East Anglia being flat, coming into the Norfolk Fens, this is really where it does start to feel quite flat, and off to my right you've got the fenlands, and so largely made up of sort of pasture and marshland. The left, slightly different, we've got arable farming going on there. And one of the other things which is sort of interesting is that this landscape, which 200 years ago was marked by windmills being used to pump the land, and obviously sort of a kind of import from the Dutch, we're now seeing an increase in the number of wind turbines to generate electricity. And again, the flatness of the land and the proximity to the coast means that wind is a reliable natural resource. But what I have noticed is there's an increase in cattle farming in this part of the world, not dairy farming sadly, but beef cattle, and so the fields are increasingly being grazed by redpoll and other beef cattle. I can see quite a few of them off to my right. So again, the landscape changes a bit as we approach the river itself. And the road that we're on is effectively a causeway. It's a little bit higher than the land either side, and that's a feature that you see a lot of, particularly in the Cambridgeshire and Lincolnshire fens. I'm just going to pause here actually and try to give you a bit of a sense of what we've got around us. So yeah, we can just come up this bank a bit and you'll get a sense of the sort of landscape we've got here, and here we are. So we're looking very much at the reed beds, and this being part of the River Yare. But it's absolutely stunning. I always think it has a kind of mournful beauty about it, but I also just want to introduce you to some of my friends that have come to have a look at what we're doing. So, hi guys. Hello. Yeah, I don't want to frighten you off, but we'll come and have a little look and see. Beef cattle tend to be much less aggressive than dairy herds, and like all cattle, they're naturally curious, so we'll come in and have a look. Hello. Hello. Morning. Are you alright? I haven't got any food for you, I'm afraid, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't got any food. No. But they are absolutely beautiful. I won't get any closer because I don't really want to spook them. Yeah. You get a sense of the causeway here because the road is constantly subsiding because it's sitting on made up ground, and yeah, we're not restricted by a speed limit, but we are restricted by how much I'm willing to bottom out the car. I have this peculiar sense that as I'm driving, the boats on my left are actually higher than I am. So anyone watching from Holland will probably find this landscape quite familiar. Right, here we go. I'm just going to pull in and you'll be able to take a look at the ferry in a second as it goes. Move round. So this is a chain ferry, and it effectively works by just simply dragging its chains from one side of the river to the other. So in a minute we'll see if they'll let us get across. But, again, this is an area really sort of used by pleasure craft, and that's absolutely stunning. So yeah, we'll see if we can get on board and go from there. So this is interesting actually, just watching how the current on the river is actually taking it. So it wants to take it downstream, but I suppose a little bit like a tank, it's having to sort of use brakes on one chain or the other in order to steer itself. So the pilot's clearly having to sort of pull tighter on the upstream chain to sort of compensate and to steer it across. So yeah, very interesting. Very neatly done. I can see the boat going. Morning. It's the Vitesse, yeah, that's right. 450, was it? Yeah, thanks. To be honest, there are a few of them about, but yeah, they are, I think, you see them more at car shows than you do sort of out on the road. Yeah. But I like to drive mine, so...
I love it. My first car I ever drove was a Triumph Ferry.
Was it?
Yeah, when I say drove, I drove around on the track with the dads.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was, happy memories.
Well, a lot of people learn how to drive in them because in the 1960s, the British School of Motoring had a complete fleet of them because they have such a tight steering lock. They were light and they were easy to drive, and I think, you know, particularly in cities, people sort of found them easier to park. Yeah. But I bet you have. Well, I don't work on it very often. Oh, is that right? Yeah. No, it's not so bad. We're not doing like regular shifts. Yeah. But no, I just do it. Sunny day. I just come back from sunny Scotland. Wow. Was it? And you made a video? Yeah, I am. Yeah, you're on YouTube. Sorry, but if that's all right. Oh, really? But no, I mean to be. Let me just do your fare. Yeah, that's great. Thanks. But I'm sure you must get a lot of classic cars, people wanting to sort of bring the cars out here. It makes my day interesting. Yeah. But you know, not enough. I mean, you know, I love classic. We've got an old classic caravan. Oh, have you? Yeah, caravan. Wow, that is rare. We used to have Coco the Clown's living. Did you really? What, the Coco, the Russian? Yes. Nikolai Polyakov was his name. Good God. Yeah, I remember reading his autobiography. Yeah. So I read his autobiography when I was at school because he was talking about sort of surviving the Russian Revolution. Yeah, I did. Yeah, you're the only person I've ever met that's also read that. Well, we had an interest in reading. God, how extraordinary.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a number of caravans, but that one's gone off to Switzerland in the end. Weighed 2 tons, you can jump up and down on the roof.
I bet you needed something strong to pull it though.
Yeah, well, I used to put it with a little Land Rover. That wasn't suitable. You used to jump about on it.
Oh wow. Gosh, how interesting. So,
what do I look out for on YouTube?
So, so the channel is called A County for Old Cars, and if you if you tune in, say on Saturday, you'll be there. It'll start off at Beccles.
How many subscribers has you got? One more now.
It's very small. So we're about 140, something like that. So it's not.
We're all over 60.
Yes, they are. Yeah. They're all old guys that love old machinery like me. No, I don't think so. Anyway, have a great weekend. We'll find your gear. Cheers, bye-bye. Well, there's an extraordinary coincidence. I'm just going to pull in here and then give you another view of the ferry. It's one of the things that I love about doing this is the sort of random people that you get to meet, and yeah, what an extraordinary coincidence that he and I should both have read the autobiography of Nikolai Polyakov, better known as Coco the Clown. Right, let's pop out and have another look and see what we can see. So you can see it works for obviously cars and caravans as well. I think you can get small lorries on there, and then already we've got a queue of cyclists and motorcyclists wanting to get across the river. Again, up on top of the dike, and you can get a sense of this extraordinary landscape. I'm very lucky to be able to live and work in this part of the country, and to have these amazing roads and places to come and visit, all of which are within about an hour from me. But I think, you know, if these videos sort of demonstrate anything, they demonstrate that you know, if you have an old car, there are all over England little lanes and backways that if you sort of look hard enough you can find, and it's definitely worth, you know, making the effort and you know, bringing your car out to places like this. As I say, I love going to car shows, but I think my sort of favourite activity really is, you know, getting in the car and driving it and using it for, you know, what it was intended to be used for. I think we'll park up here and go for a little wander. Guys, yeah, I think they're hoping for some bread. I think you should have the last word. Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be really cheating not to bring you back the way we came. A bit of a weird experience.
There you go.
Thanks ever so much. Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really strange experience to be coming across on this thing. Oh, you're really kind. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. Such a nice guy. And right, time to go. Thanks a lot. See you soon. Cheers. I think it's probably coffee time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed sharing this trip out to Reedham Ferry with you, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care.